Rangers set to hijack Manchester United's move for Jamie Vardy in a sensational twist. Djeidi Gassama has agreed a 4-year deal. Could this former PSG Wonderkid be the new Ryan Kent we've been crying out for? Rangers monitor, 23 years old international, described as a prodigious talent, as bid rejected for winger. Cyril Desros wants out, fed up and frustrated, but the club keeps blocking his escape as Bojan Miovski looms large as a deadly replacement. Strap in, this summer's turning into pure drama and you won't want to miss a second. Jamie Vardy to Ibrox. Just let that sink in for a second. A Premier League winner, a golden boot holder, a man who went from non-league to lifting the title with Leicester, and now he's being seriously linked with a move to Rangers. Not just linked privately, there's no denial from within the club. He's very much on the radar. Russell Martin, when asked about the possibility after that 2-2 draw with Club Brugge, didn't rule it out, and you know what that means. Where there's smoke, there's usually a wee bit of blue flame. It's being framed as a potential free transfer masterstroke, and it would be exactly that. Vardy brings aggression, experience, and most importantly, goals. Even last season, in a dire Leicester side, the man bagged 9. Now, let's get real. He's not the same Vardy that tore through Premier League defenses week in, week out. He's 38, but if you think he's finished, you've not been paying attention. He's not here to run 90 minutes pressing centre-backs like he did at 25. He'd be here to do what he's always done best: sniff out chances, rattle defenses, and finish clinically. Here's where it gets even juicier. Manchester United are reportedly interested too. That's right, Man United. But Rangers might be about to beat them to the punch. And don't forget, Genoa were all set to bring him in until Patrick Vieira backed out. His options are still open, but Ibrox could very well be his next big chapter. Now imagine this: Rangers sign Vardy on a free transfer and pocket £15 million from the sale of Hamza Igamani. That's how you do business. That's how you build a title-winning squad with balance and ambition. That's how you make a statement to Celtic and the rest of the country. But here's the kicker. If Vardy does arrive, are you ready to embrace a 38-year-old striker as your main man in the title race? Or does bringing in a veteran from a relegated side smack more of desperation than ambition? Is Jamie Vardy at Rangers a bold stroke of genius, or would it be a sign that the club still can't stop looking backwards when it should be building for the future? Rangers are not resting for a second this summer. The rebuild is well underway, and Russell Martin's on the hunt again, this time for a name that might not roll off the tongue yet but could soon be ringing out. From the stands of Ibrox, Theo Balow. Now, if you're not familiar, here's the lowdown. Balow's a 23-year-old winger plying his trade in Austria with Wolfsberger AC. He's not just any winger, though. This lad's been described as a prodigious talent, the kind you only get once in a generation. And he's one we know from the English game too. He came through the ranks at Chelsea, once spoken about in the same breath as Jadon Sancho and Callum Hudson-Odoi. That tells you everything about the promise he carried. He's got 28 goals in 85 games over 3 seasons for Wolfsberger, mainly playing on the left of a front three, but he's more than just a wide man. He can play through the middle. He can drop in behind the striker. He's versatile, quick and direct. The type of player who gets you off your seat. And when you've got defenders in Scotland still turning like a ferry in a loch, a player with his pace could wreak absolute havoc. But it's not just Rangers who have clocked him. Ajax and Mainz are in the mix too, but make no mistake, Russell Martin wants him at Ibrox. Talks are ongoing and the club have made their move. You can sense the urgency. With Cerny gone and question marks over the future of both Desros and Igamani, it's vital the front line gets a serious injection of quality, and while we're at it, there's also been a knockback in the chase for Samuel Edozie, The Southampton winger, who Martin knows well, had a bid turned down, but that doesn't mean the door's shut. With Martin pushing hard and the board backing him financially, you'd expect another move to come. The new boss is building something, and you can see the strategy: smart, targeted signings from undervalued markets. Just like we did with Raskin, Diomande, and Igamane. Look, this is about more than just replacing bodies. It's about closing that 17-point gap to Celtic, and if Rangers can tap into these overlooked leagues, Austria, Belgium, Scandinavia, they might just find the missing pieces to push us back to the top. Now here's where it gets spicy. If Balow does arrive, a former Chelsea Wonderkid, no less, and shines in the blue shirt, would it prove that Celtic's obsession with splashing out millions on average players is actually what's holding them back while we build smarter and stronger? What do you think? Does Balow represent the smarter, more strategic Rangers rebuild that's going to finally bury this bloated Celtic model once and for all? Djeidi Gassama is on the brink of becoming the next big name to walk through the doors at Ibrox, and let's not mince words, this one could be a cracker. At just 21, Gassama has agreed personal terms with Rangers on a 4-year deal, and by the time you're hearing this, he'll likely have had his medical done and dusted. The fee, reportedly around £2.5 million, though the exact figures still under wraps. But in terms of profile, potential, and pedigree, this is the sort of signing that gets you excited. Gassama's a product of the PSG Academy, which tells you plenty already. At youth level, his stats were nothing short of ridiculous: 27 goals and 9 assists in 35 games for the French Giants, U17s and Youth League sides. That's not just form, that's raw talent exploding off the charts. Last season at Sheffield Wednesday, he showed flashes. 8 goals in 47 appearances might not scream superstar, but look deeper. He was in the top percentiles for getting into the box, expected goals, shots on target. He was playing in a side struggling for consistency and stuck with the second worst home record in the league. Put him in a team like Rangers, dominating the ball and playing on the front foot, and you might just see those numbers take off. Barry Bannon called him exciting, and he wasn't wrong. Gassama has blistering pace, a direct style, and you can already picture him flying down that left flank at Ibrox, getting bums off seats. The comparison to Ryan Kent is obvious and probably fair. He's got the same unpredictability, the same 1v1 menace, and if Martin can unlock his end product, you could be looking at a genuine match winner. This is part of a clear strategy under Martin: secure young, hungry players with high ceilings. Build a squad that isn't just ready to challenge Celtic, but to blow them out the water with pace, power, and pressing. And if you ask me, Gassama could be a massive part of that. But here's a question that's going to ruffle a few feathers. If Gassama hits the ground running and delivers what Kent often failed to, consistency, goals, and real cutting edge, would it prove that Kent was overrated all along and Rangers have finally found a better version for a fraction of the price? What do you reckon? Was Kent more flash than substance? And is Gassama about to show you what that position should have always looked like at Ibrox? Cyril Desros looks like a man at the end of his tether, and who can blame him? He's done his shift, banged in 29 goals in 55 appearances last season, yet still finds himself as the target of constant criticism. Now, AEK Athens have come knocking, the players keen to move, but Rangers have slammed the door shut repeatedly. You can sense the frustration. At 30, Desros knows this might be his last big move, and he's clearly had enough of the noise around him at Ibrox. Despite leading the scoring charts last season, he's never quite won over the support. Why? Simple. He's inconsistent, wasteful, and in the big moments when it mattered most, he just didn't deliver. let's be honest, 2 goals in 10 matches against Celtic, 10 big chances missed in just 12 Europa League games, and here's the one that'll haunt you. 59 big chances missed in 2 seasons. That's not just frustrating, it's infuriating. Now, Russell Martin is already staring down the barrel of a striker shortage. Václav Cerny is gone. Hamza Igamane is likely on his way to Lille, and Danilo is still working back to full sharpness. So from a depth point of view, keeping Desros might feel necessary, but from a football and financial standpoint, it's time. With only 2 years left on his contract and 31 looming next year, this summer is the moment to cash in, get the money, reinvest smartly, and that's where Bojan Miovski enters the frame. Rangers are reportedly one of the clubs circling the Macedonian striker, currently with Girona, and it makes perfect sense. Miovski knows the league, knows how to score against both Celtic and Rangers, and let's face it, he's a far more clinical operator. Their numbers are similar on paper, but Desros misses far more chances. Miovski, once called a complete number 9, scored 4 against Rangers and 3 against Celtic while at Aberdeen. That alone should get your attention. Because in Glasgow, it's not about padding stats. It's about what you do in those matches. And Miovski didn't tear it up in La Liga, but La Liga isn't the SPFL. Rangers aren't buying him for Spain. They're buying him to be deadly on a cold Wednesday night in Dingwall and lethal on Derby Day. So here's what's really simmering beneath the surface. If Desros stays, are Rangers risking another season of missed sitters and dropped points? Or is clinging on to him a safety net that's already full of holes? Would selling Desros now, despite him being the top scorer, be the bold but necessary move to finally break the Celtic stranglehold and put a real goal machine in place? If you haven't seen yesterday's video yet, you're missing out. Explosive news about Rangers that'll leave every fan stunned. Go check it out now.